Hey guys, it's Holly. How are you doing? What are you up to? Personally, I really want to go for a walk myself this afternoon. It is a lovely day outside. It is super sunny. I even just put sun cream on because I don't want to get burnt while I'm out. But I really just wanted to sit down and catch up with you all and answer a couple of questions. I put a little thing up on my Instagram story as usual, as well as my community tab on YouTube this time around. And I picked these while I was at the hairdresser yesterday. So let's sit down and just relax, grab a drink, sit back, learn some more about me. First up, Danny wants to know what my favorite cereal is, and yeah, Danny, unfortunately, Weet-Bix is one of them. I am a massive cereal person. I love it so much so that I could eat it basically any time of day. I love it that much. Sometimes I'll just have it for dinner if I'm not that hungry. It's fantastic. My favorite cereals currently are Weet-Bix, but also combined with a couple of cornflakes on the top. I cannot stand an overly sugary cereal. I just can't do it. Though in saying that, I absolutely love Honey Nut Cheerios. That is one of my favorite cereals of all time, and those Honey Nut Cheerios are not the same as these Honey Nut Cheerios, so I can only get them whenever I'm in the US. Literally, next time I go, I'm debating bringing back another bag. I did that once before. I got a giant bag and put them in my suitcase and brought them home. It was fantastic. WC asks, when am I going to release the instructions for the Daredevil mock? When done, of course. Now, originally I wasn't planning on doing instructions, but I feel these days, every time I sit down and do a Q&A or just a chatting video or even just talk about mocks in general, people always ask about the Daredevil mock, and it's definitely something that I really want to sit down and properly finish next year. The mock is still built. It's in my storage unit so it doesn't get super dusty. I just basically need to do the roof and the interior, maybe add a third floor. I've still got my digital project on my computer on my Mechabricks profile and all of that, and I really feel I should probably do instructions. I mean, overall it's a pretty simple build. If that's something people are interested in, let me know in the comments down below, because it's something I wasn't really considering. But I've definitely got to finish the mock first, which is going to happen next year. I want to do it, especially with Daredevil appearing in She-Hulk and the new show coming out. It's something I really want to do, and now that my parts collection's sorted, I feel mentally I'm a lot more, prepared in order to take on and finish that task. I've also never tried to do instructions for something like that before, so if anyone's got any recommendations on how to actually go about that process, again, let me know in the comments down below. Luke says, do you have any tips to display your Lego sets? Love your videos. Firstly, thank you, Luke. Secondly, I love this topic. Lego displays, Lego storage, and Lego organization in general is just a topic that I absolutely love. I recently did an updated room tour video, and firstly, that is one of my favorite videos that I've made on this channel, and thank you to everyone for all of the love on that video. I'm really happy with how my room is looking right now and how all of my Lego displays work. And overall, my biggest tip for displaying Lego is to not overcrowd your shelves. Now, don't get me wrong, I have been a victim of this. I've overcrowded my shelves and just wanted to put as much as I can out. But one thing that I have learned over the last couple of years is that less is more when it comes to Lego, and everything really has to be intentional. Now, I love a stylized Lego display, and a lot of the time you can still put a lot of stuff on your shelf, but everything really has to be, placed, very thought out, and really a lot of care has to go behind it. You can't just shove a set on the shelf and make it look okay. For Star Wars sets especially, getting ship display stands to make things look like they're flying goes a long way. It adds a lot of personality to the ships, I think, and overall makes everything look a little bit more, professional and nice and stylish, which with Lego is what you want, because if you put too much of it out at once or it doesn't look very styled, it looks very messy and very cluttered. So yeah, less is more, display stands for any ships or things like that. And I would also try and group things in with themes, or try and create a scene. I love personally putting minifigures in my displays, but I'm also one of those people that likes to have all of their minifigures displayed at once. So if you've got any duplicate figures, I would try and use them. And that's something that I started to do more recently now, because the minifigures, again, really liven it up and make it feel a little bit more stylized. And lastly, don't be afraid to swap out your sets if you don't have enough space. Put some away in a storage container and swap them out. You don't have to have everything on display at all times. Jack says, do you think there'll be any Ahsoka sets for the new TV show? Also love your content. Again, thank you, Jack. I certainly think they will. I mean, Star Wars is such an expansive universe, and they do sets for pretty much everything these days. I mean, admittedly, I don't think there'll be sets for Tales of the Jedi, but we've had one for Andor. We get Mandalorian sets, we get Clone Wars sets, we've had Rebels sets. Ahsoka being, another big live action show, to me, having sets based on that naturally makes sense. I feel we'd probably get maybe one or two similar to Andor and even like The Mandalorian when they first started. And again, sort of like Andor, I don't imagine they're going to be very spoilery. Like, I just think that's not a thing that's going to happen. I assume we'll get Ahsoka, maybe we'll get some of the Rebels characters since they've been confirmed and cast and all of that, but I don't think we'll be getting a Thrawn because at this point we've had like no news of him. Also, to what we're getting, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe one of Ahsoka's ships or something like that that's pretty just generic and basic, but I would also sort of like one that's a little bit more tailored to the show outside of that, because we could always get a ship later on, sort of how The Mandalorian did with the Razor Crest. But I'm really interested to see what Lego does. I definitely think we're getting at least one and probably more as the show continues on. But at this point, I'm just really excited to hear news or see something from that show. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Harry asked if I'll be buying the new Hulkbuster, and for me, absolutely not. I first looked at that set when like the set box leaked and I was like, no, I'm not a big fan. And then the official photos came out and I saw that Iron Man mech fit inside it, and that made me hate it even more. And then I saw clips and videos talking about how many gaps there are in the set, and I was completely out. Like, for that price point, I think it's disgusting. Like $550 US, and it's like what, 850 Australian? That's ridiculous. That's more than the average price of Sydney rent. That is atrocious. Like, I'm not doing it. Part of me like just wants to like experience it, but at the same time, that's a lot of money just for an experience. And even the minifigure sucks. Like, usually minifigures can sway me a little bit. Like, I don't see why you would go out and buy that set over something like the Razor Crest. Like, if you're gonna spend that amount of money, the Razor Crest makes a lot more sense, or even pay more and get like the UCS Falcon. Like, that's personally what I would rather do. Even if you are looking to buy this set and you are genuinely interested in it, I highly suggest holding off. Like, this set has had so much like negative feedback. Like, a lot of people are saying they don't want it. I wouldn't put it past Lego to put this on sale in like 6 months time. So just hold off, or at least definitely wait for double VIP. Like, do not buy this on release day. It's stupid. Stranger Things wants to know what I thought about the AntMan Quantumania trailer. Now, first up, I watched this in a car, so I wasn't, I guess, like fully like paying attention to the trailer, because at this point, like, I'm feeling pretty burnt out with Marvel, but Ant-Man has always been one of my favorite things. Like, I love Paul Rudd. I love what they've done with Ant-Man, but also I know going in that this is going to be like a very CGI heavy movie, and for that, I'm not particularly excited. Overall, I quite enjoyed the trailer. My favorite part though was definitely like the day-to-day life type of thing. Like, that's my favorite thing in the MCU, is I guess just the more grounded thing. So as soon as they went into the quantum realm, I was a little bit like pulled out. I mean, overall, it looks pretty good. The CGI, however, does not look good, but I'm really excited for Kang. I'm just overall as well excited for more Ant-Man. Like, I think his character is fantastic. I have high hopes for the movie, but at the same time, like, I'm getting a little bit tired now. I feel like though, like when the movie comes out, I'll probably be a little bit more hyped, but I'm interested to see, I guess, what else they sort of put out leading up to the release. Nick says, which Disney parks, buildings / attraction should we get a minifig scale set next? Now, I have some strong opinions when it comes to, I guess, like Disney sets. Now, in terms of Disney attractions and like minifigure scale sets, for me, I really feel like the Sleeping Beauty castle from the original Disneyland park is what should be done. Like, I love Cinderella's castle. That set is gorgeous. It's a beautiful, tall building that firstly looks really good in Lego form, and secondly is a lot more interesting in real life. However, Disneyland, like the Sleeping Beauty castle is the original one. It also exists in Hong Kong, much like Cinderella does in Tokyo, but to me that makes sense. But also, I don't think they would do a castle straight off the bat of doing another giant castle, so I don't think it's coming anytime soon, as much as I would love it. I know people throw around Space Mountain quite a bit and Big Thunder Mountain, but I personally don't think they would overall be that interested. The one that I would really love to see is the Tower of Terror, and even if they do one of like the mini Disney attraction sort of sets, I would love that. Like, having a little bellhop minifigure and having a Tower of Terror build would be fantastic. I really imagine as well they would probably do it based off the Hollywood Studios version, considering like the California version is now Guardians and it only really exists in Paris from now on. I feel like that's the next like logical step. It's a really interesting building. It's sort of spooky as well, like the Haunted Mansion, and again has that really like beloved Disney feel to it. Dane's out here representing all of the Swifties by asking what my favorite song from Midnights is. Now, I actually posted a video yesterday where I did like my Taylor Swift mock mosaic thing, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll leave it linked at the top in the cards here. But basically, my favorite songs, firstly, is Lavender Haze. I love that song. I'm also a big fan of Karma. It just puts me in a good mood. It makes me feel great. It's really fun to vibe to. One as well that I'm really enjoying recently is Question. I feel like I sort of overlooked it to begin with, but I'm a really big fan of that one now. And Mastermind as well is one that I sort of like hit off straight off the bat, but I haven't actually listened to it all too much compared to some of the other songs. But basically that album and a lot of her discography has been on repeat for me, as well as Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia album, because I'm gonna go see her next week. So I'm like super hyped and ready for her. Amelia wants to know, out of all the sets retiring this year, what is the number one must have? Now for me, there's a lot of sets retiring that I like absolutely really love and think were some amazing builds. First up is the giant Disney castle. This is sold out on lego.com, and if you don't have this set and you're a big Disney fan, go on to Shop Disney right now and pick this thing up. It is gorgeous. I know it is a really big price tag and a really big ask, but this set is fantastic. You will not regret it. Another one though that I think people are overlooking a lot is the like minifigure scale Batman tumbler that came out last year. I love that set. I think it's a fantastic build. It was one of my favorite sets of 2020, and overall I just think is fantastic value for money. I've even seen it on sale on Amazon Australia, and I think a lot of people have gotten caught up with like the AAT and the 501st that like a lot of these other sets have been forgotten about. By the way, I'll leave like affiliate links for all of these for like Amazon and things like that in the description down below if you wanted to pick up anything. But definitely I think like the AAT is another one. Like I personally really liked that build, and the minifigure selection is fantastic. I mean, the 501st is a classic, but I don't necessarily think like the build for that is like overall too much to rave about. Some other ones I love are like the Harry Potter clock tower and the Hogwarts Express, and Sesame Street as well was another great one, though I think that one has already sold out again. A lot of the sets this year seem to be disappearing quite fast, but definitely I would go and look at that Batmobile tumbler and the Disney castle. Like those I think are my top picks that are retiring. Some of this stuff as well is also on sale. Like I know at least like the 501st and the AAT, they're on sale on Amazon US. So again, I'll leave affiliate links for this stuff in the description down below. Jai is wondering which biggest Star Wars set I should buy myself for Christmas. Firstly, I love a good self-Christmas gift. I think it's fantastic. Now, I actually haven't had like too many of the big Star Wars sets. Like I love them. I think they're fantastic. Though recently I have been lucky enough to at least see some of these in person, build parts of them, or own some of them myself. And some of the ones that I really love are firstly, the Razor Crest. Now I know that's definitely one of the most expensive ones. So I mean, there is that to consider, but that set, just seeing it in person, it is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I think it definitely does lean into that price and makes it feel a little bit more worth it. Like it's a very big ask, but it makes sense. The set is minifigure scale. It's very grand. It's very beautiful. There aren't too many flaws with it overall. I absolutely love that one. Also, the UCS R2-D2 is a absolutely adorable build with a lot of cool features. I've got that one on my display. He looks incredible. Luke's Landspeeder on the cheaper end of things as well was a fantastic set. It's a lot smaller. It's really easy to display, but for me personally, like it was just too big for at least my taste in Lego sets, but overall was a fantastic set. But if you're like me and you love minifigure type of things as well, Mos Eisley Cantina is a must buy. I love that thing. I still haven't finished building the entire thing, but I love it. I love like the Master Builder sort of more location types of things as well as giant ships. So that one for me was a fantastic set at least. But if you like your bigger ships, I would lean more towards something like the Razor Crest. The Gunship too is a beautiful model. It just takes up a lot of space, and that's something that I personally did not like. Like it's just giant. It's very hard to display, so I would keep that in mind when looking at that set. Aaron wants to know what my predictions for the sets coming in 2023 for Star Wars, City, Marvel, and Ideas are. Now, I feel like we've got a lot of like the January set leaks, and honestly, I've forgotten most of them. Like I know we're getting the 501st Specialist Pack, a TIE Bomber, like the helmets for like Cody and Rex, and then it comes to Marvel, there's like the boring mechs and that like Morbius set. Honestly, I forgot the Quinjet was coming until like a couple of days ago, and then like someone mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. So I feel like for the summer wave, like for Marvel, I imagine most of it probably is going to tie into the movies. I don't think that there's going to be anything that ties into shows particularly. And then probably like this year we might get like 1, 2, maybe 3 Infinity Saga sets. I would love for there to be one based off Thor personally, though I don't think that they're going to do it, and I definitely don't think they're going to do a Captain America First Avenger type of set, but a Winter Soldier one could certainly be possible, and I would love to see that. But I think definitely a lot of it's just going to be based upon the movie, which is quite annoying because like you can't really, I guess, like predict or get too excited for things. And honestly, Marvel is just like, it's gone from my brain at this point. It's just disappointed me too much recently. Star Wars, on the other hand, I have a lot of hope for. I mean, with the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, I'm really hoping that we get like some sort of like Ewok village type of thing, like a nice Endor build. I want more Ewoks. They just appeared in the 4+ set. Like it makes sense. I really want to see it. I can also see them doing more Andor sets, considering, I mean, that show has been praised a lot from the people who have been watching it. I would love to see another type of set from that rather than just like Ambush on Ferris as a standalone thing. I also hope as well that the LEGO teams like listen to a lot of the feedback about Attack of the Clones not really getting anything this year, and that they sort of hopefully maybe make another Attack of the Clones set next year and maybe do that Jango Slave 1, or even do some more Clone Wars sets. Like maybe I think they're going to throw Captain Rex in a set. I mean, if they're doing the helmet from him, they did Cody as well recently. Like there's that popularity, there's the new helmet with the helmet holes. I feel like a Rex is somewhere on the horizon, and I have been holding off from buying one for that reason. So I would love to see something like that. But besides that, I can't really think of too much else that I think could happen. I just really hope that they have a wide range of different movies. I mean, I would love to see some more sequel stuff. Like I don't have any First Order Stormtroopers. I want some of them. So if there could be a set with them, that would be great. As for City, at this point, I have no clue what's going on. I just know that they throw base plates and everything, and it's really disappointing. I really liked their like animal range, but all of those sets were just like so overpriced. It was like really, really painful. Ryan has what could be a pretty controversial question, and that is, what's the weakest LEGO theme in your opinion? I feel like there's a couple that come to mind for me. I mean, LEGO art is one of them, even though I actually really love the LEGO art. I love how like customizable it is. I love the mock potential and the rebuild potential, but a lot of the time I just don't think that the ones that they give you are all that great, at least to me in my opinion. But since I like LEGO art as a theme, I don't want to call it that one. And part of me as well wanted to say dots, but then they've recently branched out and done those like iron on and so on patches, which I think are really cool. So honestly, for me, I feel like City these days has to be one of the weakest. Now, I love City. It's such a staple. I love all of the new fruit pieces and the farm animals that they've done. I think they're fantastic. But ever since they introduced those road plates, I feel like City just like absolutely tanked. Like the prices of everything are so inflated now because of those road plates. Like nothing is good value. All of the builds feel like half done. They feel really shallow and just really thin. Like there's really not a lot going on with them, which is such a shame because City has been doing some amazing things otherwise when it comes to minifigures and pieces and molds and even just concepts. Like we finally got a LEGO City School, and it looked horrible. City has such great potential, but honestly, all of that potential is being like funneled into the Friends line. Friends is what City should be. Friends is killing it when it comes to the building department. Like all of the sets look great. All of the buildings look fantastic. It's overall looks like it's really good value. Again, some amazing pieces are used. And then you look at City and it's like, what happened? So if you're a City builder or you really liked LEGO City and you're not happy with how the theme's doing, look at what Friends is doing, because those sets are great. Just like if you don't want the mini dolls, get rid of them, sell them to someone, give them away or whatever, buy the minifigures off like Bricklink or something, and then combine the minifigures from City and the builds from Friends, and then you have like the perfect LEGO City theme again. Speaking of LEGO cities, the Brick Man wanted to know if I have any desire to create my own LEGO city in the future. For me, absolutely not. I admire people's cities a lot. I think there are some amazing cities out there. I think people are doing really creative things and just how they adapt them to their spaces and what they do. And I love the fact that it's sort of a project that never ends. Like it's always something that you're adapting and changing and working on. And that I absolutely love about it. But for me, the concept of a city just like stresses me out. If I ever did one, it would have to be like a vertical city and would probably honestly just be a street front, because I cannot stand like the thought of having a ton of tables filling up my room. And I get that like a lot of people store sets underneath, like my friends the Sauruses, they often store a lot of their sealed sets or investment pieces underneath there. And like I know Brixie does the same thing as well, but I just cannot comprehend the idea of having a room full of tables with just Lego on them. Like that stresses me out for some reason. Like for me, I'm always just more of like a shelf person. Like I would rather have like Brixie's wall of shelves on around the back of my room. Like that is my dream. And then have, I guess, like a table or something in the middle with like a chair and then some like part storage, or even like more shelves, or like a couch or whatever, so that I have space to like work on something. But I just don't want a room to like be taken up by an entire Lego city. Like I want to have space to, I guess, just like walk around and move and like do things, which I mean, these people can do with their cities. Like I don't know why I feel this way, but to me, I could never do a Lego city. Like that's something I never see myself doing. I don't ever want to do a Lego city. I like my modulars in a line, and then to like decorate my line and maybe have like a thicker shelf so I can do maybe a couple of like cars on the front of it. But in terms of like a full city, no, not for me. Something I could never do. I think it would stress me out far too much. Donnie was asking what other non-Lego sets have I seen advertised that I'm interested in checking out, as he's been thinking about trying the Kobe military sets for himself. I've seen those on shelves. They look pretty cool, especially like the Top Gun ones. Like I really liked the look of them. For me personally, like really the only ones that I really want to try out are more of the Mega Bloks Pokemon sets. Like I would really love to get like that larger Charizard dragon or some of the Eevee builds or anything like that. I love the look of them, and I just overall loved the Pokemon sets. I did have like One Piece Snap on me, and like it was a little bit annoying, but overall it was pretty fine. I mean, I love seeing what all these other brands are doing. Like I always go and stop and look at like the Pokemon section in stores now, because I just want to see what like Mega Constructs is up to. Like what have we got available? Like value wise, overall it's really good. It's also something that I'm really interested in, so I definitely want to check out more of them. I wish though that like the Barbie figures that they did in the Mega Constructs line didn't look so stupid, because I would totally buy into that otherwise. Space Yeti was wondering if I've seen Avatar and what I think about the sets. I have seen Avatar. I was one of those people that like didn't actually go and see it though in cinemas. Like I saw it on DVD at home, so I really didn't get the full experience. But overall, like I don't remember a lot about the movie. I just remember thinking, oh wow, that looks cool. And then like I've been to Pandora at Animal Kingdom, and that was fantastic. The rides are amazing. Overall, it's just like super, super sick. And when the sets came out, I think they look gorgeous. I just, like a lot of people, looked at the price and was like, yikes. But the one that I would actually consider getting, and I really, really like, is that Banshee set, especially because like all of the animals in the Avatar sets, whether it be from like the first wave or the second like one to tie in with the new movie or whatever, all of the creatures have a little stand. Like that's sick for me. At this point, I'm just waiting to find it at the right price. Like I really want to buy that set. The new sets as well look fantastic, but I'm probably just not going to buy them because I'd rather put my money towards like Star Wars or Harry Potter or things like that. But I think that Lego has done a fantastic job. The only thing that turns them away is the price, which is quite unfortunate. So if I ever see that Banshee like 30% off, I'm snagging it. And lastly, Beep asks, which of the most recent Harry Potter sets do you think are worth it? I'm looking to expand my collection and I don't quite know which ones to spend my money on. Love your videos. Thank you so much. So out of the most recent Harry Potter sets, for me, first thing I would do is pretty much turn away from majority of the Hogwarts Castle sets, besides the Polyjuice Potion bathroom. I can't even remember what the actual set title is right now, but that one, I loved that set. I think it's fantastic, and for such a cheap price point, it is a no-brainer to me. That set is definitely worth its value. The ones that I would skip are Sirius Black. That set is just not worth it at all. Also, Fluffy Encounter. Both of these sets just feel like really lackluster, especially for their price points. I would just turn away from them. Grimmauld Place for me is definitely one of my favorite sets, though I do think it is pushing it a little bit in terms of overall value, but I really like that set. I love how different and unique it is. The play feature is fantastic, and overall, I think it looks great on my shelf as well. The Ministry of Magic, I feel like, is a little bit better value for your money, but also feels a little bit empty for what you get, which is why I feel like the Shrieking Shack is another one of those sets which are definitely worth their value. You get a lot for the money you're spending. It also looks incredible on display, has a lot of fun play features. You get tons of minifigures. Overall, I absolutely love that set. And the Buildable Hungarian Horntail, that is a fantastic creature. It looks so good on display. It also makes sense at that scale to me. Like, it's super hyper detailed. Absolutely love it. I feel like those three, you cannot go wrong. They are fantastic. And I also want to shout out as well the playset Hogwarts Express, even though it is retiring, so you'd sort of have to act really quickly on that. I love that set. It's way worth getting over the bigger sort of UCS collector's edition sort of scale thing. But those are all of the questions for today. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted one. I love doing these types of Q&As because I just love sort of, I guess, like getting a little bit more personal in my videos. So thank you as well for watching this and sitting and listening to me talk. So let me know what sets you're keeping an eye on for the rest of the year before January 1st. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.